So I'm going to record a few games at, I guess, C ranks, about 1500 MMR. I will try to show a few strategies, one per matchup ideally, that are simple to execute, not focusing too much on scouting, just trying to focus on spending money and doing some sort of timing attack out of 2 or 3 bases depending on the matchup. So not using any fancy tech, just keeping it simple and abusing zealots as much as possible in all matchups, just to show that it's possible to use easy strategies to execute, to gain a lot of MMR in the lower rankings, to win games, and that what actually matters is having a lot of stuff. So before we go into fancy microcontrol, timings, tech usage, what actually matters is your macro. So, and I'm going to demonstrate that. I might have a bit too much IPM just because of spamming habits, so, but it should be visible that it doesn't take a lot of speed to execute the strategies I'm going for. I'll try to keep it at 100 or below, but it might go up if I just accidentally just start spamming hotkeys by habit. So let's see if we can get some games. Should be quick. I hope to find one per matchup, but we will get what we get. So it's a Zerg, and we are going to fast expand. So we are going to split our workers, hotkey the Nexus, change colors, set screen location, and we are good to go. Now we don't really need to do much. Just making probes, so we are going to rally our 8 probe to the natural. I don't remember if I wrote it before or not. I'm still half asleep.
You have not enough minerals.
So this probe goes to natural, and then we change the rally point, and this will be our scout, so I'm going to hotkey it as well. And we place the pylon and shift click it to their base. And now we keep making probes and sending them to mine. It's fine to acquire this probe. So if the opponent is going for the early pull, we are going to rally our next probe to the natural to make a forge. We ordered another one, and now we can just watch what our probe finds. So is it going to be a hatchery first, pull first, how many links, and that's about all we want to know, really. If we can, we want to delay the hatchery, but it's like not a big priority. So we see a pull. It's an overpull because the overload is done already, so we make the forge and we just go chill. I will position my probe here to block the hatchery. Don't really need to watch much. We change the rally point back, and in about 10 seconds he's going to be able to place the hatchery at 155. It's too early right now, so I'm not going to block it yet. It's okay, he got the first shot. I'm not really microing, and I'm not going to. And with 13 probes we make the Nexus. Now we want to know how many links the Zerg will make. So we make the Nexus, we keep the probe there to make a cannon. Once we have 150 minerals, it's only 1 egg, so we might, if it's 6 links, we want 2 cannons. That's basically it, and that's all we really care for about in the early game. Only 2 eggs so far, so let's see if it's drones. So I kinda want to see what is in the next 2, but it doesn't really matter. Want to keep the probe alive a little bit more, and after that we can actually leave their base, like it's not that critical, not at this level. So it's drones, so we only needed 1 cannon, and now our probe can leave. I'm actually going to send this different probe, like at the triod, and this one I just send it back to mine in my main. 16, we make a pylon, and that's it. So this is going to be our next scout, and it's gonna chill, I think, like here. All I want from that scout is to see if the Hydras are coming to kill me in a couple minutes. Now we make a gas. I have a habit of hotkeying the gas to see when it finishes, so I can start mining immediately. You don't have to do that. And we transfer at like 650 HP on the Nexus. We can transfer like 5 probes. Gateway finished, so we make a core. And we mine the gas when that's available. And after we start to mine the gas, we make a Zealot. It's possible that Zerg is going to lingo in us, right, like very soon. It's a bit risky to have your probe completely out, but that's like not that often after they made so many drones and didn't save larva. So our plan for the game is simple. We are going to make +1, then we make a citadel, then we cut probes, make like speed, gateways, and we kill them with zealots. Don't need anything besides zealots, usually, not always. So, and we can rally the zealot to go attack. And as soon as we have 100 gas, we make a citadel. There's only 2 links, so our zealot is dealing with them right now. We make the citadel, we make 2 more probes, we make a pylon with a room to add a lot of gates. And we are going to cut probes after the next round. Yeah, and it's time to go, like 4:30, 5 minutes, we go. We can chase if we have time to spare, we can chase some links if it's not too many, but it's not important. So he made 2 more links, probably because of our zealot, and 2 more, but what does he have here? He has a layer. Okay, so now we just make a lot of gates, we just go up to 6 gates, preferably outside of overload vision, and then we order speed once we have the money. Not that important. Okay, this zealot went off, so I will bring it back. But we make 5 gates. Then we make speed. Then we make zealot. Would be kinda nice to know where the third base is, but we don't really have to know it. And now we make a pylon because we added a lot of gates, we will need pylons. Right now we have 4 supply. This will be 8, so we will be able to order 6 zealots at the same time. And I probably am doing too many actions, so sorry for that. It's habits mostly, like double rallying, things like that. So here, like 50-50, right? So now we will need 2 pylons for the next wave, because we will need 12 supply. So one wave we make 1 pylon, next wave we make 2 pylons, then 1 again. And I hotkeyed like all my gates. And now I'm going to rally them right in front of the Zerg base. And I'm gonna attack with +1. So we made the zealots. We make another pylon, and then after that we'll make archives. We might need them, probably won't, and like we move our zealots. I will attack with these 2, and the rest can be on the move command. And now we can make archives where our zealots are moving, and we can just move here. It's not, I could wait for the speed to finish, it's not critical. We just need to keep making zealots. And yes, we cut the probes after the citadel. I don't remember if I mentioned it or not. So he has some Hydras, 1 sunken. Unfortunately, that's just not enough. So he's basically dead. That's it. I can send 1 zealot over here to check for the third base, but like, and some zealots here, but I don't even have them hotkeyed. So I think I missed the pylon, for example. It's not critical. I expected to lose some zealots, but I didn't. Can get +2 attack or archives to finish. Okay, so there is a sunken, so we can attack it. Okay, Spire. We actually need to attack the Spire, like that's important. He's still making Hydras. I don't think he has money for many Mutalisk right now, but yeah, we can attack them and then we can attack the Hydras. But he lost so much of everything that it's going to be difficult for him to do anything. So we send these zealots over here, like on the sunken. And I mean, we could finish the spire, we don't have to, we could just attack these. It's like we have way too many zealots for our opponent to deal with. And he's still making I'm not even going to make any Templars until I see Mutalisks, because then we'll need some Archons, maybe some cannons, but as it stays, like the opponent is actually dead, so he's just not living for some reason. So this is it. Like we attack it with Zealots and it won us the game because Protoss is imbalanced. And at this level at least, Zealots are very strong. To put it simply, Zealots are very strong when you don't use walls. Like in a fight where both players are not microing, the Zealots are very effective. So in this game I did some controls that might be difficult for a beginner player, in the sense that I kept splitting my Zealots to go into different bases to attack different targets, but honestly it's not crucial. You could just attack, move their natural and destroy their buildings, and they would have more drones, but they would still have dead hatcheries. With this strategy against Zerg, it's kind of preferable to at least check their main, and if they make a spire, then kill it. But it's not like, I don't know, 4 Mutalisks will save them against this attack. Like, by the time the Mutalisks deal with Zealots, you kill their base and make cannons. So the Mutalisks actually need to be well timed to deal with this. So yeah, that's it. All I did was, I didn't hotkey any of my Zealots. My hotkeys by the end of it from 1 to 6 were gateways, and all I was doing is ordering Zealots occasionally, making an occasional pylon, and then commanding from my rally point of their base to go attack somewhere. That's kind of most of what I did. You could do this probably with 50 APM, just a bit less control and less spam. So let's try to get a different race. I'm not sure if I will get any Terrans there, but Protoss is probably the one that doesn't have an easy answer. Well, the easy answer is to go 2-gate Zealot, but if they also go 2-gate Zealot, then you need to adjust. Against Terran, my plan would be to go for 28 Nexus, so keeping it simple, just making goons from 1 gate and then getting a Nexus, and then getting robotics and 3-gate Alps, then taking a somewhat late 3rd Nexus, so after our observer reaches their base, and after that 2 card probes and go for a speed lot all in with like 10 to 12 gateways. So, and just try to bust them when they try to take that horde or leave their base, or if we are feeling like they have no units and our observer sees it, we can just bust their natural as well. And it should work on up to like 1800 at least, so it's strong. Their main threat is obviously 2 factory. Oh yeah, and about PvZ, so like I checked and solved the layer with a probe, but generally, even if you cannot get into the main, you just want a probe somewhere on the map between your base and their base, so you can see the Hydras coming. And all the changes in your build against the Hydra win is, instead of getting Citadel and then more gates, before the gates you add 2 more cannons, up to 3. Or if you already had 2 because they made too many links early, then you go add 1 more cannon. And 3 cannons is enough. After that you get a lot of Zealots, and if you can, you try to save the +1, because you order +1 with first 100 gaps, it's easier to save than if you went for Stargate first. But overall, yeah, just 3 cannons is enough for your gateways and speed to finish, and after that you can fight the Zerg head on. Not if they have great macro and micro, then the 3H Hydra player can win. But yeah, if they don't have good micros, then it's going to be an easy hold. So all the changes for you, you get 2 extra cannons before the gates, and that's it. So we have a Terran, and like I said, I'll go for 28 Nexus. I haven't done it in years, but let's do it. I'm just setting screen hotkeys.
You have not enough minerals.
So I'm going to scout them after core, just to check how much gas they are mining. It doesn't really tell much at this level, so they might be mining gas non-stop and go for one factory expand. So doesn't really matter. Can also skip scouting at all, but you kinda want to know when they take their command center. It's not mandatory. There are 2 points to scout, is when they make their command center early, and how many factories do they have once your observer reaches them. Not ideal place for the first pylon, but it should do. I would probably prefer to place it here, just didn't play in a long time. And let's place a gateway. Let's rally to our natural and keep making probes. As I'm not even gonna name like DT or build orders, you place things when you have money for them. Like we have a probe running, we have 100 minerals, making a simulator. If the gate will finish, you will have the money for the core, assuming you split the workers early on the mineral patches. So this probe can go to place a cybernetic core, and then it can scout. Well, I'll send it to mine gas and I'll send this one to scout. You don't have to do this. So, and now we are going to need another pylon soon, because we will want to make a dragoon. Yeah. I'm doing unnecessary actions at the moment, so just clicking random things. Not good at waiting. Can order a few probes in advance, but not too many because we'll need a core, a goon and range. The Terran is scouting has odd time to scout, doesn't really tell me anything. Another probe, dragoon, oh it's a wall. So for a wall we kinda want to know a bit how many marines are they going to make. I think he had one and then he cancelled it, probably for the factory, and now he's making them again. So it could be a 2-fact, like we want to see how many marines. A lot of marines usually mean a 2-fact, but if it's a 2-fact there will be a gap, because they don't have the money by default. I mean, let's kill the CV. He decided to lose HP for no reason. I'll chill with the probes there for some time, but yeah, it's not important. So another pylon, can acquire goon at this point. We are going to soon make an access. Let's check how many marines. Still one. So this is, if it's a 2-fact, they should be starting it like about now. More marines. If it's a siege command center, then it makes sense for them to not have many. I'm gonna bring the probe back because I will have a goon to scout with. It could also be a second factory that's proxied actually. But yes, let's attack a depot. And let's go make an access. So 28, like we'll have 400 soon. I didn't cut any gas mining, you don't need to be fancy. Just make probes, make nexus. Let's see what happens here. He's repairing it, let's attack it. Let's make him spend attention. So right now we are going for a robo. Can be goon, can be a robo. Generally decent. I don't see many marines, so oh, he's actually making vouchers. That's interesting. I'm gonna send the next goon at home because he's making vouchers for some reason. That is unusual. I made a pylon. Okay, and he has a tank without the add-on, so it's a 2-fact. It's a 2-fact, he just doesn't have any... Oh, I don't want to lose a goon. It's a 2-fact because he doesn't have any marines, but it's a 2-fact because he has a tank without an add-on. And it's an in-base. It's an in-base 2-fact, so it's not a proxy. We don't really need to contain the Terran here. Can chill around the ramp because it will make him move. He'll get stuck a bit, but like don't have to do it. And now we make observatory, pylon, the nexus will finish. Didn't need that pylon, I don't remember the build. Don't get like completely stuck. If he runs by like that, then just use the goons here. Maybe he'll have speed finishing soon. That was a bit sloppy by me, I let them pass. But we'll have more goons here. Don't run into mines, I can just... Well, I'll just have to do this, but I'll have an ops coming up, so... I will lose some production of probes at my natural nexus, but it's kinda tolerable. I think he spent most of his mines, so I'm gonna poke at the vultures. Like, I'm not gonna let them into my main, and actually all of them died, so we're going back home. It was way too fancy, didn't need to do it. Honestly, if I saw the 2 fact, I could just go home immediately. I didn't, that's on me, but probably should have. Underestimated my opponent a bit too much after I killed his depot, so... Now we just rally to natural, make probes, make goons. Don't need really to make probes if you want to, like, to not die to a 2 fact, but it's fine, like it's fine. We already killed 4 vultures for free, we can make probes now. I don't need all my units to be here, I just want to kill the mines, honestly. And I'm not going to attack the Terran, let him take his base, whatever. There is a vulnerability window for him possibly, but I don't really care about any of that. I'm just going to sit at my base, I'm gonna secure the ground to take a 3rd base, and I'm just gonna keep making goons. We love goons. So he has a late command center, so not like a crazy 3 factory all in. Now we have enough economy and army advantage, we can expand. He didn't snipe the probe, probably didn't place the mines yet, or he won't be coming this way, so we place the nexus. And like soon we are going to stop making probes, we are going to make a citadel, and then we are going to make a lot of gateways and zealots. I have way too much APM, apologies, I didn't particularly need it. So we have 4 factories, but honestly our opponent doesn't have the money to produce from 4 factories right now, like not with the eBay turrets and just finishing command center, so he probably skipped some units to make these factories. It's actually a 5 fact. Well, as you can see, none of them are blinking, so we probably could kill him with a frontal attack right now. I'm not going to, but like, don't just be scared of a number of factories, see if they are working, because these are not. And okay, these are going to be the last probes I make probably. I will have about 55, so it's not like a great saturation, but it's enough to make a lot of gateways from 3 bases and then attack. I'm still making goons, but now is the time to start adding more gates and start to make zealots. I don't have like pylons in advance in the great spots to make gates, so this is something you may want to think about with this strategy. I guess I can fit enough of them. So we are making like a lot of goons, 1 more observer, zealot speed, and as you can see I'm not making any more probes, and I'm rallying everything for now to my natural. As for our observer, oh, the Terran killed it. Well, we sent another one. And we still make more gates. So we want like 10 to 12, I don't remember. Like if you have extra money, put more gates. Not rocket science. So we have 10, I'll make a pylon there and make more gates if needed, but other than that, we are just starting to spend all our money on zealots, and we are not doing anything more, like nothing at all. Just make more zealots. Make zealots, and 12 gates, it's what, 24 supply per cycle, so 3 pylons per cycle. And you can keep ahead a bit, like 100 minerals with this strategy, difference won't kill you. So we wait for this next, not this, but the next wave to finish, and then we attack move our opponent. You'll notice some startling similarities between this game and the previous one, and that's... We pretty much waited for zealot speed to finish, 1 extra round of units, and then go. probably good to have like an observer scout a bit ahead for mines. I'm going to hotkey units ahead of time because against Terran you want to attack with your units together, like quickly, so it's like 1A to A3A quickly. So I'm hotkeying my units before I go as they come. So we order the next wave and now we go. Now we just 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. I did it like extra slowly just so it was not slow. And 3 pilots. These are probably the last ones in a while because we expect to lose some units. We won't need it non-stop. And we are going to attack these buildings with dragoons, like no fancy micro. And now we attack their natural. And I'm not gonna look at the screen. I'm just going to attack with my units. I made more units, I attack with units. We can look at the screen now. We still have zealots. I attack moves through mines. Usually you want to like drag 1 or 2 zealots through mines, but it doesn't really matter. We are making zealots faster than they are dying. That's all that matters. And yeah, we have like gas piling up from one assimilator, doesn't matter. I am not sure what was luck, I guess killing the supply depot. But okay, never mind. I mean, I controlled a bit too much at the start, so not proud of it. I probably should have let him kill some probes. But I also screwed up and let the vultures cut me off, so that wasn't ideal. Anyway, what I wanted to point out is usually that tactic is used to kill the Terran as he tries to move out to take a turret. Or if he's moving out with a late attack, but at this level you kinda can just attack moves are natural, and it's a bad idea. Basically it's a bad idea if they have 15 tanks in their main sieged on the high ground. Then you want to wait for them to come out. We got the same opponent, and this time I'm gonna do a 21 Nexus, which is more safe build, which probably is a better idea. It will have a later observer, for which I don't care about, but it will have more goons. Okay, which map was it? Was it Polypoid or was it Fighting Spirit? Can't tell, it's been too long. Which is true at this level, and for a while after. You probably are going to win a lot of games just by catching them unsieged. This time, however, they had a lot of mines already pre-placed. Generally you don't want to charge a lot of mines, but when you have like 3 times the number of units, you can do that anyway. So, gateway now. I'm being completely honest, sir. Oh, a probe wasn't mining. Oh, this makes it more realistic. So we are waiting for the cores and scouting. That's my obsessive compulsive disorder, just making sure I mine everywhere. Okay, that is very early. This like makes me want to scout the center. Doesn't necessarily have to be something in there, but this is suspicious as hell. This is just way too early. Okay, I didn't start another pylon, let's do that. It's not terribly delayed. Honestly, even for BBS it's kinda way too early. Oh, anyway, his head probably is on one of the closer locations. now we make... Okay, yeah, it was late. If you're late on your pylon, just make a range first and then make a goon. It's kind of actually the build for 21 X's. And we can cut gas mining for a bit. This build is better with late scouting, but obviously his very early scout made me freak out. It's good to have a probe out on the map, because if they BBS you want to mineral drill, and then you need vision for the minerals to actually drill. So we are going... I'm going cross because he probably... It could be of course a like a very early CV scout cross map, but it probably wasn't. So I will make a 22 Nexus, not 21, and we are sending a probe back on gas, and we are going to take a Nexus. He might eBay block us, but this is one of the weaknesses of the build, by the way. And yeah, I'm not gonna leave too far, I don't want to get backstabbed by a vulture. So now we are going to make a gate. It looks like might be a 2-fact again. So we are going to... The difference here is we make a gate, then we make a goon, and then we make a pylon, preferably as a natural to make a battery in case we want it. And then we can just make probes, mine. I'm not living with this goon because it could be a vulture backstabbing me. Okay, can we see the CC? Like right now we want to see the CC and how many marines. Like a late 2-fact is not scary, and for earlier 2-fact you would be making marines earlier. So we go 4 goons and then we get a robo. Can run away. Probably he'll catch up to her, but it doesn't really matter. We are prepared to transfer probes. Let's gain vision of the minerals and send some probes across. And right now we are going to make a robotics. So when a properly timed 2-fact hits, we will have 6 goons, and I'm not even gonna scout anywhere. So if you are feeling that like we are likely getting 2-fact, you can cut a few probes here to order 2 more dragoons faster. You don't have to do it, you can prioritize probes. It doesn't really matter, it's in small differences. So making probes, making pylons. It's funny, but you can just send a probe over here to have a bit of advance warning on the attack. And it's like 4 vultures again. So he places mines, I'm moving back a little bit. I tried to focus that one, but it didn't work, so I ate 1 mine. You don't really want to eat 1 mine. I was sure the goons would target it by themselves, but no dice. Anyway, that's a hold. Now we make observatory. And now we don't really need to spam goons anymore. Like, it could be a tank or 3 tanks and some marines instead, and then it will be more difficult, but as played it was an easy hold. And this is kind of why we make these patterns as a natural. Could make a battery over here, for example. Well, now we keep making goons. And yes, with this build we get a later turn gateway. If you are like 100% sure it's 2-fact, then you can make cut probes earlier and make a 3rd gate earlier, but you don't have to do it. I'll go 4 gateways, observer, and then I'll take a 3rd base. And then I'll all-in them with zealots again. I'm just waiting on my observer to make any moves and making some pylons just to have supply. For now I'm still making probes. Usually with this strategy I get like a 6-minute 3rd base, but you can play it safe and get a 7-minute 3rd base. It's completely fine to wait for observer. Extra 500 minerals don't mean anything for this strategy. And we can kinda attack right now. Like last game we saw our opponent made a lot of factories, and you can kinda keep some goons at home. You can try to get ready to block the passage in case you get backstabbed, but honestly I'm just expanding here. I have 4 goons making, and a 2nd observer, they'll deal with the vultures. Right now I'm just going to attack and check if they have siege. And I'm gonna expand. They have siege, but they don't have mines in front of these tanks. They are exposed tanks, so we just kill them. This goon go check if there is a base there. Well, he doesn't really have money for it. But yeah, that's it. So our plan after that, if this counter-attack didn't kill our Terran opponent, the plan was the same. Make a few more probes, I know 4, make a citadel, make 10 gateways, make 2 rounds out of those gates of zealots, hotkey everything before we go, attack, move towards their natural. So, but yeah, I don't really like the 4 Vulture 2 factory. I like that our opponent went for the same strategy, as in he's getting practice doing it. I just don't like the strategy itself. There are stronger, easier to execute and harder to stop 2 factories, such as Jojo with 3 tanks and marines and rallied vultures. That's much harder to stop in my opinion. I hope we don't get this turn again. If we do, I will just leave, because I don't want a PvT again. Okay, it isn't. Okay, alright, this will be the last one, and I wanted to get a PvP as well, so yep, this should do it. So our PvP plan is to go for 2 gate zealot. Unfortunately, we also expect our opponent to go for 2 gate zealot. I think this was fighting spirit. I'm not sure. I will want to check. With 2 gate zealots, we want to make our 2 gateways on the ramp. So I won't need to know where the ramp is. I wasn't watching, I was out tabbing. So yep, I'm gonna send the next probe to, I'm gonna rally to the map, and we'll go in the direction of the ramp, and I will make a pylon with it. Like, that's what you do when you don't know which map it is or where the exit is. You just rally your 8 probes out. Okay, so it's polypoid, and you make a pylon on the ramp. So we are going to scout after the gateway. We are going to make 3 zealots, and then we will decide what we do depending on what we see. I'm setting screen hotkeys, so like main nexus, 3rd base, 2nd base, I mean production. You don't have to use them. Okay, 10th probe, go and make a gate. Go and make a gate, and then scout. And I'm going to hotkey this probe because it's my scout. I'm gonna hotkey this gate, I'm gonna set the rally at my natural, and I'm gonna make a probe. After now I can sleep for like 13 seconds. So I'm actually going to make another probe, and I'm gonna rally it over here in advance. It will make a 2nd gate. And this, now I return the rally and it will stay there. So we are making the 2nd gate. And going back to mine, and we are hotkeying this gateway and rallying to the ramp, making a probe. That's it. Now we are going to make a zealot, and then we are going to make a pylon. So we are making a zealot. Now as soon as we have, okay, so it's cross positions, alright. Now we are going to make a pylon. And our probe got stuck, but it's not a problem. And now we make probes again. There's really nothing to do at this point. We can block the ramp with the zealot, we can scout with it. I'm going to block the ramp, keeping it simple. We are making a 2nd zealot. Oh, he's probably 8 scouting from over here, because either he cross scouted or he went here and here, because we scouted at 10. So I'm gonna make a guess. I should have made it a bit earlier, but we don't have to actually. I'm going to make a core. We are blind, so it's a bit better if we get zealot counter attack, but whatever. So now we are going to attack with our zealots, even blindly. Our opponent is coming with the 1st zealot. I'm just gonna ignore it, and I'm gonna make a core. It looks like he's retreating, so I will go move forward. That is okay. So he's going for, I guess, a battery at the natural or something. Let's see if he took as a guess. He didn't. So probably, oh, it's a forge. So he wants to expand here. We don't need any more zealots. When our opponent makes a forge, and it like those zealots won't be useful because the cannon is already going up. So he'll probably block the passage, and yeah, he'll make more zealots. So we attack some units. Right now I'm still macroing behind it, I'm just not rallying anything anywhere, and we don't have to like do anything, we can just go attack the pylon. And Actually, I'm just gonna take the Nexus. Wait, he's attacking me? Okay, that's odd. I mean, I don't need all my 3 zealots. That one can still go kill my opponent pylon because I want to finish it. Can go for range. Is he still wants to expand? He does. That's kind of curious. We can go for... this costs him way too much attention to do this. I missed the pylon, which is really bad for me. Okay, so he's making zealots and he's gonna expand with it. And we are attacking here. We also get a Nexus, we just didn't need cannons. That's like the difference. You see cannons, you can expand. And let's just attack the zealot. Yeah, you don't really have to try to save probes or anything. Okay, he's gonna kill 2, whatever. It's like not terribly important. Okay, go back to mine. Anyway, because he made those... a good micro by our opponent. Because he made so many zealots and because he... Yep, so because he made so many zealots, he made a forge, an nexus and cannons. What happens is he cannot have tech. He cannot have everything because we have tech and we didn't make cannons. Okay, nexus should give us supply. And now we attack. If the cannons are done here, we are just gonna wait, but we can rally to them. A counter attack right now would be annoying, but we can deal with it with our reinforcements. Yeah, I think that's what he's going for, but our 2 goons that are making can deal with it. You can just focus the cannons, to be honest. And I will keep this to deal with the zealot. These cannons are far from finishing, so I think it came back. I'm not sure if it's the same one or not. But yeah, we just attack. So, we are very ahead. Yeah, I was about to say, at this point what do? We just make a robo. Like, when the only way we can lose is DTs, we just make a robo. Anyway, PvP is tricky at this level because you are going to 2-gate, it's gonna be an easy win if they don't 2-gate, but it's very likely that they will 2-gate as well, and at that point you can go for goons, but if they go for, I don't know, cannons, then you just take a nexus. If they go for a lot of zealots, you make goons and stay back. If they go for tech themselves, then you can expand or get a robo. But honestly, robo at this level I would use just for observers and just make a lot of goons and expand. And the PvP, my expectation for this matchup would be like this. I want to do a lot of damage with my first 3 zealots, and if I can do that for some reason, then I'm going to get ahead economically, and then I'm going to move them with a lot of units with zealot speed. That's getting observers before that. So that's a solid plan for this matchup at this level. But yeah, so PvZ, +1 speed load, prop cut, 6-gate zealot all in. PvT, take your natural, get an observer, take your third, get 10 gates and zealot speed, and on count probes and then zealot all in. PvP, open with 3 zealots, decide after that based on what they are doing. So, yep, and that honestly, with minimal OPM, with minimal effort, just spending your money, not missing too many pylons, not controlling your units too much, this should get you to like 1,800 fairly easily. After that you might need to, like, honestly these strategies could get you to 2,000 and higher if you start to incorporate better macro and micro and scouting and reacting. And they really stop working after like 2,200. But at 1,500 this boils down to you don't die to an early all-in, you spend your minerals and you attack move speed zealots. It's a very good unit, very much recommended. Yeah, that's it for me. We'll go get some sleep finally, but hope this helps someone. We need more speed zealots on the ladder.